Welcome to the KKW Trucking Podcast. It's Dustin here, joined by Eddie and Bonnie from the recruiting department.
Hi, guys.
Welcome, Bonnie. This is your first time on the podcast.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here. This is a good first time.
I wish they could see the smile.
I know. They do at work. It's okay. One day somebody will meet me and you'll see it.
There you go. Well, they can catch you on the Today Show. So
This is true.
Well, I'm very excited for today's podcast. We have a very, very special episode. We are recording from Patterson, California. And Eddie, I'm going to throw it over to you. Can you please introduce our guest on this podcast?
All right. So right now we're joined by Mr. Dine, Dave Dine from Patterson High School. He's one of the teachers here. And we also have one of his students, Leilani. So I'm actually pass the mic over to Dave and let him introduce himself.
Hi, Dave Dine. I'm the CDL coordinator here at Patterson High School. This is actually our second year of the program. And have a student. This is our student here with us. Her name's Leilani. So you want to say?
Hi, my name's Leilani, and yeah, I'm a senior this year, so all of this is kind of exciting because it's like such a big thing.
Senior.
And and so cool. And Leilani, there's something else that's super cool about you. So, this is a male-dominated industry. Let's just put it out there. But Miss Leilani here is one of the first female student that took advantage of this course. So I think that's so inspiring.
That's amazing.
And that is so cool. And it's a enormous deal. So kudos.
So do you think you're motivating other young ladies to get into the program?
I hope so. I mean, recently we had people come in, they were 8th graders, and we got them coming through the classes, and you see the girls in the back listening to Mr. Dine, and they're all kind of timid, and then I'm just like, hey, I need a girl. Come here.
There you go.
There it is.
Into it.
There it
really
is.
Great.
My kind of girl.
You're going to do something great in this industry. The sky is the limit.
You are.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Well, thank you guys so much for coming on to the podcast. We really appreciate it and very excited to jump into our questions on this episode. Eddie, I'm going to go ahead and throw it over to you. Where do you want to start? What's the first question?
So I would like to start with Mr. Dine and give us some background on what made you start this program. No, matter of fact, give us some background on yourself first.
Oh, wow. All right. Well first off, my plan was never to become a teacher. Coming out of high school, I'd say my original plan was to become a race car driver.
Wow.
After 2 years of racing and after the funds kind of dried up, I looked at my skills. I'm like, well, I have no education. Only skills I have are driving. So what are my options? I'll become a truck driver. And that was probably one of the best decisions I ever made because coming out of high school, I think for a lot of students, they get kind of labeled based on their grades. My grades weren't the best.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
So I never saw myself going to college.
Mm-hmm.
And so once I got to truck driving school, I realized I just had a passion for it, and my grades were really high. And for the first time in my life, I realized that, I'm not stupid. I just didn't care in high school.
Right.
Exactly.
And there's a huge difference there. So I had really good grades in the truck driving program and started driving. And I was driving one day. I was hauling milk out of Tulare. And I started thinking about, you know what, I'd really love to go back into racing, but I'd like to make some more money. So I saw the guys up in the offices. I'm like, I want their job. Well, how do I get their job? I'd like to get a business degree. So I actually decided to go back to school.
Oh, good for you.
But it took me 8 years to get through college because I'd drive half the year and then go to school half the year.
Wow.
And so I graduated with a business degree and got hired on with a large manufacturing company as a driver manager. And so I accomplished everything I wanted to accomplish in life. I was happy until I ended up going to a friend's barbecue one day. And this is where my whole life just did a 180. And I went to this friend's barbecue, and there were some people there I didn't know. And in the backyard, there's this young boy, he's about 9 years old, hanging off by himself. So I picked up a football and we started playing catch. And this is before I was married, didn't have kids of my own. So I asked him that one question people always ask me as a kid. Hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? And he looked at me, he held the ball, and he looked at me, and he said, when I grow up, I want to go to prison.
Whoa.
Wow.
And I'm just like, oh.
Wow.
And that, just like your reaction, it was just kind of, I was shocked, and it started weighing on my heart.
Wow.
And I didn't know what to do. And after several conversations with some friends, one friend said, well, why don't you try teaching? I said, I can't teach. I have a business degree. I'm a truck driver. That's what I do, right? And he said, well, try subbing and see if you like it. And literally the first time I walked into a classroom, I'm like, oh my gosh, I think I can do something here.
Wow.
Wow.
So that's what led me to leave trucking and go into teaching, but I never really left trucking entirely. I would always drive on the weekends. And then I actually started
Oh, sorry. We are recording at a high school, so that might happen.
Quick question.
Yeah.
What were you teaching when you first started you doing the subbing? What grade?
It was actually elementary school. I was trying to
Elementary
reach
school.
out to those kids who just didn't have, they were lost. And so I decided to elementary school.
Wow.
And
It's amazing.
But then I saw I had students in my class that their parents were incarcerated. And I could see the cycle was going to continue. And I kept thinking, how do you stop the cycle? We need positive role models in the family. And if dad's locked up, that's not doing a service to the family.
Right.
Exactly.
So I came up with this idea of starting a nonprofit truck driving school ministry, where I would work with people coming out of prison, teach them how to drive a truck for free and help them get jobs.
Great.
And so we had 7 trucks donated to us. We had 5 trailers. We had a great little operation for 10 years, and I just do it in the summertime. But when they changed the emission requirements on trucks, our trucks were no longer compliant. So 4 years ago, we were forced to dissolve the nonprofit.
Right. So
But
that's
that
what
kind of
stopped
opened
that
up
program.
That stopped that, but at the same time, it opened up a door here at Patterson High School, because that's when I first heard about our supply chain and logistics management program.
Oh, so you guys already had the program?
Yeah, this has been going on for about 7 years.
Okay.
And so I made a call to our superintendent, kind of shared, the idea, and he's like, "Yeah, let's do it." And
It was I did some driving around the neighborhood. It was no better place to start this program than here.
is.
You have everybody around here
Yes,
with
we
a
do.
distribution
Yep.
center.
Right off
We were
I-5.
riding around like, wow.
Yeah. That is incredible. Your story is so inspiring. I think you are the perfect person to be where you are, because you saw something in a little boy that led to this.
Sure.
So that's really inspiring.
Yeah.
Wow.
I kind of tell people it wasn't my. It was my choice and decision, but I think it was mainly something that was just placed on my heart, and I couldn't shake it.
But a lot of people would just like kind of go in one ear and out the other, and kind of like weigh on them, but not to the point where they would take it as far as you did. So that's really cool.
And we can see the passion when we see
Totally.
look in your eyes. When we see you in Ontario, the passion is there. You're so excited, just like us.
You guys fired us up down there. That was awesome.
Yeah, we that's how we are. We
are.
love the industry. We know that it's a great industry. We're truck drivers. We do other things in the industry now, and it's just we see the avenue. We see that young ladies like Leilani can be successful at this and make a lot of money. So what is it that made you tell us a little bit more about the program? Now, what is this trucking program here at Patterson?
Right. So our program is open to seniors. It's an elective class. It's a one-year class. We're mainly classroom instruction. But when I say classroom instruction, we don't spend that much time behind our desk. We do go through a textbook. We have implemented the new 2020 standards that go into effect. But mainly we'll take a look at a topic, and then we kind of incorporate it either into the driving simulators, or we take it outside of the truck, so the students are getting a lot of hands-on time.
Awesome.
And then once they finish our program, they go right into our adult ed program during the summer, and that's where they begin their behind the wheel training.
And me and Bonnie, we were debating like, this class is a year long. She's like, no, this is probably just one semester. So now we have Mr. Don.
It's a year
I
long.
told you, Bonnie.
Oh, wow.
It's a year long.
Okay, Eddie, I know. It was a good debate. I was so hoping that you were wrong, but I have to give credit where
We like
credit is
great
due.
debaters. We always
are.
debate.
We really are. So no, but now that you say it, it makes sense. Thanks, Mr. Dime, for clarifying everything.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah, but that's a good point that you bring up.
Yeah.
So when they're done, like when Leilani graduates, she has a permit.
Sure.
Okay, and then that's when she comes back, and that's when she
in the
actually
summer,
does the behind the wheel.
We
Okay.
contract through another truck driving school. They bring their equipment here to the high school. We use our facilities here for the training. But
Well, let's shout out the truck driving school.
it's Green Valley Truck Driving School,
All
Modesto,
right.
California.
Green Valley. Thank you guys for everything you do out there.
Thank you so much. So I was just wondering, like, how does another school get started with a program like this?
We've actually been contacted by 6 other high schools probably in the last 4 months.
Wow.
That want to start similar programs. But one of the things we're kind of finding is that they're starting from ground zero, just like we did. It took us 2 years to get our program up and running. And so we kind of started looking at this as like, the industry can't wait 2 years for a school to kind of figure it out.
Right.
True.
So we're like thinking, what if we created a entity that could go in and help these schools, assist these schools we really developed a really great curriculum here. It's just not a textbook. We've incorporated, we use a program that it teaches students the proper way to lift, stand, move to reduce workplace injuries.
New period.
Workplace injuries is what.
Yeah, so it's designed to reduce workplace injuries. We take one little mini lesson a week, and then we just practice it throughout the week. And these are things no one ever told me, like how do you open the hood the proper way? How do you pull the fifth wheel? We know over a long period of time, if you do it incorrectly, there's a great chance you're going to sustain some lower back injuries.
Yes, sir.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
And just another question for you, Dave. Do you guys help them get, jobs after? Are you guys involved
we kind of got, when we first started this program, that was our goal. Let's make some connections with some industry partners. Let's get them jobs. But what we realized, we don't want them to have jobs. What we're looking for are partners that will come in and really create what we call a career path.
Love it.
Because
I love that.
People who just have a job, jobs are you're just kind of stuck.
Yes.
But if you know going in, you might have to start at the bottom. But if you know this is the progression, if I'm here for 6 months, but then I'm going to transfer to a different division, I'm going to have a different job.
Yes, sir.
And what this does more than anything else is that we keep talking about retention. Is that when people feel connected, that they're more apt to stay.
Yes.
And when somebody actually understands somebody else's job, they're going to appreciate that job more, and they're going to have empathy.
Yes.
So when I'm going to, and maybe my truck is late getting loaded because of a loading issue, well, I'm going to have a little bit more empathy for that person who's dealing with that other issue.
Absolutely.
As opposed to coming with a bad attitude and saying, where's my load?
Absolutely.
It's wonderful because part of our presentation is the difference between a job and a career.
Yes.
So that's why I looked at my paper. I thought you were cheating and looking down at my
What else you
paper.
got?
I'm
What else you
like,
got?
what is he doing?
And I'm just thinking, I'm like, whoa, did he really just say that?
Right,
Because it's
body's
true.
like, beep.
I'm like, that is the truth.
But I think in conjunction with having a defined career path is also to have embedded mentoring.
Yes.
Because people need to be supportive of it. And I just don't need somebody to show up and check off a box and, I met with this person this week. We need authentic, real communication.
Totally agree.
Where people, you're going to do it on the clock. You're going to be compensated. This is going to be part of your day. But you need to start building relationships with people.
And honestly, how many people can graduate high school with a career? It just doesn't happen.
No.
Yeah.
It just does not happen. I mean, I was just looking at some of the statistics, and it's like 1% of high school students actually have a full-time job. They have little jobs and stuff like that. You guys are going to be leaving with a career. I mean, just thinking about the big picture, 401k. When you get involved with the company like that, you can retire on time. All of those things matter. And as a young person, it doesn't make sense right immediately in that moment, but it doesn't take long before you actually can see your money grow. And you can start to see things like that and just implement your future. So that's really cool.
Real quick, Leilani, can you tell us a little bit about yourself and how you got started with the program?
Well, I mean, it's just there was just this interest there, I just wanted to get up. I wanted to get up and do something, and I always wanted to be part of something bigger. Because I said, if I can't make a mark on my own, then I want to do it with something else, right? Mm-hmm. And that's my goal, to when I leave this place, I want to have left my mark. And so there's this passion to get out. I don't want to be stuck in a classroom. I hate the classroom, honestly, because it's not the same as it was when we were in kindergarten, where the world's this big open place. They kind of closed the doors on us. And then I heard about this class my junior year, and I was like, well, there it is. There's something that I can dedicate all this passion and this energy into, and I can just watch it grow, and I can help other people. And so that's kind of why I came into this class, but I was also kind of very cautious. I was like, okay, what if it's just textbook? What if it's some teacher who doesn't care about what he's doing?
That's not the case, is it?
That was her voice actually right there.
And then we get in here, and like they said, you can just see that passion in his eyes, and he's just genuine. He cares about the students he had in the past. I mean, you have fourth graders who he had a long time ago, and he still talks about them. He cares about us now in the present, and it's just really great because then that kind of encourages us as a class to come together and motivate each other. And so it was just welcoming from day one, and I'm like,
Awesome.
Have you ever been told you've been here before? I do not see a senior in high school. You are so mature.
You are. You are light years ahead of where you need to be.
Keep pushing because I see something great in you too.
Mm-hmm.
Looking at you,
Yeah.
smile. Listen to you talk
industry.
right now, and I'm just like, wow.
Yeah. She's going to have a huge impact on the industry.
I agree.
Yes,
you know, what's crazy is like I'm already a truck driver, but I feel inspired by you. So I just think it's so incredible. Your mindset is so positive, and that's what we need in this industry right now. It's positive vibes and things like that. Sometimes it can feel like a thankless career, you know, because you're out for a while and things like that. But you just brought it right back. So that's really cool.
Bonnie and I, we make sure our drivers are appreciated.
Yes.
We make sure all drivers are appreciated.
Yes.
We tell them, thank you for helping us power the world. And we actually put it on a poster for you guys because we really mean it. We did like a campaign where we just went around talking to drivers, just saying thank you. So we do thank you for everything you're doing.
Yeah.
And everything you're going to do in the future. Don't forget Eddie.
Yes.
Don't forget me.
Yes.
So what is it that you want to do once you get out of high school?
That's a tough one because I feel like I'm at a crossroads. I mean, I'm in this class and it's kind of like, it's like a securement because even if, you know, things don't go the way I want to, I know that there's still going to be different paths that we can take with this industry. Mm-hmm. And right now, I mean, I'm a fire explorer. So it's like I have two things in my hand and it's just amazing and they go hand in hand. Awesome. And so I'm like, well, where am I going to go next? Mm-hmm. And so my goal was like, as soon as I jumped into this, I mean, I was always raised go big or go home, and we don't go home. Wow. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, okay, I'm in this
I love it. She's our hero. I wish they could just see me right now. You are awesome.
We have to clone you.
I know. We have a new recruiter. I mean, right?
I actually
She's
like
great.
It's crazy because I like the fire truck as well. I'll tell you what I like about the fire truck. I like the one with the fifth wheel on the back. And I'm fascinated because I'm a truck driver. Yeah. So I'm fascinated when I see him turn the corner and the guy on the back turn the back wheel and it just skates around the corner. I'm fascinated by that. So, wow, you got the best of both worlds in your hand.
And I'm fascinated by you because you are taking on two male-dominated industries.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's funny because like, I don't look at it that way.
Exactly.
I mean, it's in your, it's like you said, it's in your face, it's out there, you know, it's all males, you see that every day, but that's not the way I see it. I just kind of see it as a challenge, and I'm like, well, you support me or you don't, I'm going to keep moving forward, and so I think that's what makes it easier.
And I love that because it's all about perspective, right? Because I didn't see it that way either. You know, you just see it as a career. Yeah. You see yourself as a firefighter, right? Yeah. So that is so inspiring, and I know when people see you, they're going to feel the same way. Your perspective is now going to like bleed out to the world, and other people are going to see that. I'm already inspired.
I'm inspired. That's what made me become a truck driver. I seen a lady do it. I always liked trucks, but then I seen a lady do something, and I didn't know she blindside. I didn't know what a blindside was. Yeah. I just seen her back off a main street into like a grocery store parking lot. Wow. So I was like, wow, she can do it. No offense. Yeah. If she can do it, I can do it too.
None taken.
So it made me go to school and get my truck driver's license, and then I still drive past that same store. And now I know what she did. She blindsided into the store.
Wow.
So that made it, she was even badder for doing that. So Dave, quick question.
Sure.
The Trucker Buddy program.
Yes.
Explain that to us a little bit.
You know, we started looking at, and I taught elementary school for 17 years, and one of the things that we definitely promote college, and so a lot of the students have this mindset that there's one path to success. And so when we started building our program here, is like we have a lot of students that are coming up through the grades, and they're still focused on this one path. Mm-hmm. We know that for us to grow this industry, we need some personal connections. Mm-hmm. And I read a study, and this is from Ellen Voya at Women in Trucking, who shared that 82% of the women who go into trucking have a prior personal connection to the industry. Mm-hmm. Well, here's the problem: a lot of these girls that are coming through the schools don't have these connections. Right. So I think we have to be intentional and consistent and make these connections happen.
Right.
So that's how we decided to partner with Trucker Buddy International.
So what qualifies you to be a part of that program, to be a trucker buddy?
Yeah, we just need, as long as you have a CDL, you're a driver, and you're willing to partner with a school. Actually, it's one class you'll be partnering with, and you just communicate once a month.
So is this like a pen pal kind of?
Can be however the teacher and driver want to set it up. It could be through email, it could be through Skype, it could be through letter writing, and all they're trying to do is enhance what's going on in the classroom. Okay. So if they're studying about geography, we'll tie that communication into that. Okay.
Wow.
And somebody that's out there listening, how would they go and be a trucker buddy? What would they do right now?
Yeah, if they could, probably the best way is to send me an email, and we can either get that on the podcast or that way I'm kind of coordinating between the teachers and Trucker Buddy International. Okay. And what we're trying to do is create the first school district to be where all the fourth grade teachers will have a trucker buddy. So we want to kind of create it like what we call a benchmark.
Awesome.
And kind of see if this will kind of transpire and kind of increase the number of students that want to go into trucking.
Right, nice.
Yeah.
You want to
my
email out?
definitely. Yeah, so my email address, it's D as in dog. It's DDEIN at patterson.k12.ca.us.
All right.
And I know it's a wonderful program. I know it took you guys a lot to get it up and running. What are your biggest challenges? I know you have to have some challenges.
I think one of the challenges, as we just talked about, is the mindset. A lot of students are coming into the high school and they still have their own definition of success. They haven't really explored other opportunities. It's just kind of getting the word out. But I think as once people understand all the opportunities that are in trucking, and now that we have one of our first students from last year is currently driving, the word's getting out. They're seeing what
amazing
Javier, and I'll give a shout out to Javier Diaz, who's working
Javier,
at
Mr. Diaz.
Bronco Y and Bivio Trucking, and doing a great job.
Cool.
excellent
Nice.
People are coming to me. I got students coming to me saying, "Hey, I heard Javier is doing great. I want to take your class next year." So
Wow.
it's just like we're just lighting that fire now.
Nice.
That's it.
Nice.
That's how you do it. What about the course completion? What are the rates of that? Like, is it, does everybody kind of get in it and they're into it, or what would you say?
It's interesting. We have some students that take it. Last year's our first year, so a lot of students had no idea what this class was even about. They took it as an elective. About half our students, we had 13 students last year. 7 of them actually what we call completed the course. That means they graduated with a B or higher. They completed all the lab work. Half of those they're still on a path to college, which is great. But at least now they're thinking more about the transportation industry. And so hopefully maybe they're going to take that business degree that they're going to earn and go back into trucking.
Right.
We have a couple students that are still going to they still need to complete their behind the wheel training.
Okay.
And of course, Javier is currently working for Bivio Trucking.
And I think what's most exciting is you hit it. You nailed it. I have a degree in journalism, right? And it became a saturated field. Yeah, all these doctors, lawyers, journalists, that these are the forgotten careers. And you don't see billboards for it. Nobody's advertising for it. So the best thing I think is word of mouth, because it's different when your eyes can see it. And it's just such a cool thing. I mean, you are making money and you are enjoying your life. You are traveling, you're seeing the world, but it's an actual career. And it's something that was like not in a lot of people's mind. And we have to remember that we're bringing it to the forefront. You guys are pioneers.
Right.
And I think that is just so incredible. Like, it doesn't just stop with the high school level. And that's what I appreciate about you, because you're like, no, we're going to have it in all the fourth grade classrooms. That is how you do it. And I think that's just incredible.
So, speaking of things you can see, we're actually sitting in a classroom right now next to these giant simulators.
Yes.
These are cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you could tell us a little bit about maybe where these come from, and Leilani, if you could tell us what it's like to be in one.
Yeah.
I mean, at first it's like, you walk in and you're like, oh, great, desk. It's a class. But then you look over and it's like, when do we get to drive those? And he's all like, okay, relax. We got to start it first. So then it was in the textbook, and then it's on the simulators. And so, like he said about the labs, he's actually opened it up because we run out of time during the school year. So he opened it up, and we get to come before class. And I think that's what everyone looks forward to, is the simulator time.
Sure. I mean, that caught my eye when I walked in. I was like,
they're
I told Eddie we went to go grab the posters from the car, and I was like, dude, I never had a high school class like this.
I know.
No,
I know.
This is amazing. This has to go global.
Yes.
Yeah,
This has
So
to.
these are great simulators. These are actually built by a company called ATS, Advanced Training Systems.
Wow.
And these are actually built out of real truck components.
Wow.
These are actually 2018 Freightliner Cascadias. Everything is real, but what's great about this is that we still teach our students how to shift a 10-speed transmission.
Amazing.
Even though there's automatic, everything, a lot of people
Amazing.
go to automatics. So what this does is that it's all based on muscle memory. So at the beginning of the school year, they're really focused on what gear they're going into and the clutch and everything. By the end of the school year, I can walk up and have a conversation with them, and they're just going through the gears. They're not even
Wow.
And you love it.
Oh my gosh. It's so
And
cool
I'm
to see
looking
that.
at it right now. I'm like, look at the clutch. Look at the,
It looks so real.
everything looks so real. there's not enough words in the English dictionary to describe.
So is this screen
how
on the
cool this thing
outside
is.
for you to watch them as they're driving?
Yeah, the outside monitor, that's my instructor monitor. So
Okay.
I can actually go in there and change the scenarios. So we have different driving scenarios. We teach them how, following distance, left turns, but I can actually add road rage. So I can add drivers with road rage, or I can I can blow a front tire out. I can change things
Wow.
while they're
We
driving.
need one of these in orientation.
Seriously, seriously.
Mr. Firestone, you
And then
gotta
if
get us
if there's a situation where they maybe could have handled it differently, I can go back and replay it and show them. Say, okay,
Amazing.
this is where you made your mistake. This is what we can do differently next
That
time.
is priceless.
It
I
is
mean,
because
wow.
this doesn't tear up your clutches. There's no liability. These are incredible.
And it helps people deal with real life situations.
Yep.
You don't want to have to experience it for the first time in person. This is incredible. It helps you to not panic.
Yeah.
I think it's really cool. Again, I'm telling you, there's not enough words in the English dictionary to describe how cool this thing looks. It is very neat. And it's a good size. It really does look like the inside of a truck.
Yes.
It's really cool. Wow.
So one of the things I wanted to bring up, it's kind of an industry thing, but currently, I believe in California at least, if you're 18 years old, you can only drive intrastate.
Yes, sir.
Right, Eddie?
Yes, sir. And it's not just California.
Okay, so
City,
that's
state,
everywhere.
in the United States.
Okay, so they are talking though about kind of opening that up to 18-year-olds to drive interstate. What do you see as the future of that for younger people?
What I feel is that regardless of how old you are, that we don't give a new driver a set of keys and send them off on their own. Regardless of if you're 40 or 18, I think there has to be some sort of a period of guidance and mentoring. And like I say, what we talked about with our industry partners is this career path. You don't need to necessarily start them off driving a truck day one. They can work the docks. They can be a yard hostler for a while. They're going to learn. They're going to become a better driver by knowing all those different aspects anyway.
Sure.
And I think it's a graduated program. And as they build their experience and build their confidence, then But like I say, in California, we have so much real estate in California.
Right, yeah.
It's
Fortunately, California is a big state. I'm from Indiana. I mean, of course, Indiana's motto is Crossroads of America, but there's not a lot there throughout most of the states. So California, I mean, just the freeway system we have here and all that, it's very, very, very cool. So, real quick, Eddie.
Yes, sir.
Did you have one more question? I know.
Yes, I'll let Bonnie ask
Yeah.
it. We got some more questions for Leilani.
And this is a real question that I want to ask you, because this is something that I was wondering, especially when I started driving. What is your biggest fear? Do you have any fears about it?
Yeah, and I think the biggest fear, because that's kind of one thing that I've been thinking about, okay, well, what's the scariest part? Well, I don't think it's the driving part, because like he said, you can learn that. You can teach someone to drive, but I think the scariest part is failing. Because everything that we've done so far, it's huge opportunities. We've met amazing people like you guys, and we've made those connections, and I'm just well, how am I going to feel? I don't know how I'm going to feel if I've put so much time and love into this, and then it just gets taken away. If I just lose it, I don't know how I'd feel about that. I think that's the scariest part.
I don't think you're going to lose it at all. It's a state of mind, and you have it. I think, and just to give you some advice on that, fear is in your mind, and you are so well trained here that you're just gonna get out there and you're gonna rock it. I have no doubt about that. And so it's just, you have everything that it takes. It seems like a big thing, but you know what? When you first get your driver's license, it's oh my goodness, a car. It's the same thing with a truck. And the next thing you know, you're whipping it around too. But I think that you're going to be fine. And honestly, I'm happy to know that's your biggest fear, because that's not a fear at all. You're going to be great. You're going to do very well.
You'll do good. It's
Definitely.
great that you have firefighter in your hand, but just with the truck, and if you continue with it, I see something bigger coming out of you. You're gonna mold this industry. You're gonna make some changes. Remember, I told you that.
Yeah.
You're gonna be Eddie told me that. I know a lot of people have, but I see something bigger coming from you. Going into trucking, I just see you making some changes somewhere.
And it goes back to that mindset. You want to do that. You want to be the difference.
Yeah.
And I think when you want to be the difference, this is what happens. You want it to be different. You implemented this. This is brand new, and here we are. So I just think it's something that is gigantic. It was really cool that the Today Show came out to KKW and
That was awesome.
talked
That
to
was
us.
great. You guys were
That was really good.
that was great.
And then and it's one of those things that's wow, how did that happen? And now we're here, you know? Yeah. So it's just a fast growing industry, and we need professional drivers. And that's exactly what you are. You understand the seriousness of it and the importance of it. And I think you're going to be fabulous.
Thank you.
Keep it up.
You're welcome.
What's your favorite thing to do in this class?
Probably get out and see the truck. I mean, the simulators are like our best friend. I mean, like, we hear, like, you know, the different classes that come in through it, and then, you know, we've had some actually damage done to them, and so they get fixed, but it's like, we kind of take that personally, because it's like, that's ours. That's our way of learning. So it's like, we're protective of that, and it's great, but, I mean, it all starts with who's teaching you. Like Mr. Dine said, it all starts with the guidance. And, you know, I think that's the favorite part. The fact that you come to a place where you know you're appreciated. Nice. And then it kind of just transcends into something bigger, so.
Well, we have a truck coming at lunchtime. Yeah, pretty nice.
We're looking forward to that.
Check it out. It is automatic. Don't be mad at us, because we're mostly turned into an automatic fleet. Most companies are. Yeah. But it's good that you're learning on the 10-speed. If you can, take your tests on the 10-speed so you won't have the automatic restriction on your license.
Yeah, Eddie, we actually saw a fuel tanker, automatic.
The pilot flying J drivers are driving tankers with automatics now. And I thought you needed those gears when you're hauling fuel, but they're running automatics.
Wow. Interesting. All right.
Yeah, I know. Industry's changing a lot.
It is.
And what's really cool is I have my endorsements. So I have tankers, I have doubles, triple, I have hazmat. It is so crazy, all the things you can do, because ultimately I wanted to drive for the EPA, the Environmental Protection Agency. I just thought that would have been like the coolest thing ever, just like driving around this hazardous materials and things like that. And I think people just don't understand all that you could do. We are so important. It has to happen. Eddie always says it, Dustin, we always talk. Every single thing in this classroom was delivered on a truck somewhere. Sure. And so those are the things that you don't think about in your day-to-day life, because I love Amazon and I want my next day delivery. And so it's, you know, it's one of those things. So the sky's the limit. It's so much you can do.
Well, while we have you guys, let's get to know you a little bit. Just, you know, a couple questions. One of the things I wanted to ask is, what's your favorite snack food?
You know? Snack foods while driving, or
sure.
Driving. You know, I'm not a big meal person when I'm driving. So I'm more of a grazer. So I just kind of eat all the time, a little bit all the time. But anything is easy. If pretzels, carrot sticks, I'm just constantly eating.
Nice. What about yourself, Leilani?
Well, I mean, I'm not a driver, so.
So when you travel, let's say, have you traveled? Have you been in a car and went state to state, or?
Yeah, and I mean, if we're talking snack foods, real food or like junk food, because like my comfort is like hot Cheetos, honestly. Like I use it for studying, I use it for like stress, and it's just like, I don't know, that's just kind of what I fall back to. Like just like Mr. Dine said, it's funny when he talked about grazing, because I'm like, well, I do that too. So because like I just snack all the time. I cannot study if I do not have a snack in my hand.
Right.
Yeah.
That reminds me of Steph. She's a hot Cheeto girl. Yeah. How about your favorite movie, Mr. Don?
You know what? I think our go-to movie, especially around the holidays, is Christmas Vacation. We watch that every year, and that's the high point.
I love that movie.
I love that.
Yeah, that's a great movie. How about yourself, Leilani?
That's hard. You guys like are so set on like what you know, and I'm just like, well, there's so much. I mean, I love war movies. Like I love learning stuff, so war movies. But I mean, as far as like fun goes and kind of stress reliever, my fallback, you know, it's totally not because of the content of this, but just, you know, being real here, it's Smokey and the Bandit.
Really?
Awesome.
Awesome. That's pretty cool.
She's classic.
I told you she's been here before.
It's classic. Yeah. She's been here a couple of times.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I just showed that movie to my boys like 2 weeks ago, and they're like, What is this? I go, it's Smoking the Bandit.
Oh my goodness, you are an old soul.
And they were like, Dad.
Right.
Wow.
Awesome.
What about music, Mr. Don?
Oh, wow. You know, I love country. I love rock. Just kind of depends on the mood I'm in. But, yeah, I kind of mix it up a little bit.
Yeah, same. I mean, country takes me back to like summer times with my dad and the family. So that's like a good fallback when you need a good memory. And that's kind of what I listen to every day now. But I mean, rock was like my lullaby. Honestly, that's how my dad says it. He's all like, "You didn't get no nursery rhymes. You actually fell asleep to rock music."
Wow, it's in your veins.
Yeah,
it's in your veins. How cool! Just when you start driving, if you ever go interstate. make sure you change the music. Different genres, because if you listen to the same thing over and over, it bores you and it starts to put you to sleep.
Yeah.
So when I start driving, I start listening to everything. I listen to everything now when I'm driving on the road.
Yes.
Audiobooks. I love audiobooks.
Right, okay.
As I'm driving, you are like, oh my goodness, like they did that, and then I catch myself and I'm like, oh my God, these people probably think I'm crazy, because you can get lost in it. It makes the time go by, and it's so engaging, all the different inflections in people's voices. So that's an option too.
I think I'll probably listen to those scary ghost stories on YouTube because fear keeps you awake. Keeps you awake.
Oh, is that fog or is that smoke? Right? Yeah.
Who's in the sleeper?
Yeah, exactly.
I hear a noise.
What's that? Who's here? Exactly.
I'm just going to throw it out there, too. I mean, anybody, you're already listening, but be sure to listen to the KKW Trucking Podcast.
Yeah.
Listening.
And then there's that.
And shout out to all the sponsors that's helping Mr. Dine out keep this wonderful program going. And we want to help it come to Southern California. So if there's anything that we can do, we need to talk. So
we're ready to get this out.
But all we want to do is copy and paste. We don't want to build from the ground up. We
just want to clone you guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think we got something in the works, and we should have it ready in a couple months here. So
okay, good deal.
Absolutely.
So before we close it out, before we get out of here, we want to open the floor up to you guys and let you guys say anything you want to say to people that's out there listening to our podcast. And let's start with Miss Leilani. Let's let you, if there's anything you want to say, this is your time.
There's lots to say. I'm someone who likes to talk a lot, so I'm kind of just trying to gather all these thoughts together. And I guess one of the big things that I've kind of learned from all the conferences we've gone to is that, like Bonnie said in the beginning, it's like, you're kind of like, you forget where you started, and you, like she said, it's a thankless job. So I just kind of want to say thank you to everyone who's out there, everyone who's made it, whether you're a woman or a man, you've made it, and seeing you guys make it, it's kind of inspiring. And talking to the women that we talked to at the Women in Trucking Conference, like, you hear them talking and sharing their stories, and then it's like, well, I'm sorry, I'm like a little kid, so you probably don't think I know much, but like, I'm seeing how much you guys want to help us, so thank you for that, because it's up to you guys to kind of pass your advice on to us, because that's how you live on, that's how you make your mark and leave your memory, is through the people you meet. So just thank you for that. And I mean, if you're thinking about it, if you're not sure, if you're on the fence, I say just do it. And,
just do it.
Like everyone says, you don't have to sit behind a truck. That's what I want to do, but you can climb to the offices, you can be dispatched, like every single part that goes into it, from loading the truck to driving the truck to scheduling the loads, that's all important, and I think it's like a puzzle, and we all need that to come together to make that whole picture work. So
I can't wait for you to graduate, because I'm coming here and I'm getting you, and we're gonna go on a campaign tour, okay?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
Right?
Yes.
Because you are incredible.
Yes.
I am literally in awe of you. You are amazing. People need to know you. You are so great, and you have this mind that gets it. I'm telling you, like light years ahead of everyone else.
Yes.
And I'm just so glad that you took the opportunity, because you're going to be so great.
Yeah.
Really
She's
great.
special. She's a great
She
spokesperson for
we are
She
so
is.
grateful to have you on our podcast.
Yes.
This one is going to be
Yes.
classic.
Absolutely.
This one is going to be classic.
This
So
is.
years ahead, once you do something really great in this industry, we can say, hey, we got her on the podcast
I know.
with us. I know Leilani.
Yes.
Oh,
Yes.
when I become owner-operator, don't worry. I'm going to have our picture from today up on that wall, and I'm like, that's where we started.
Nice.
Listen to this
Nice.
girl, this owner-operator.
Like I said,
What?
go
Who
big,
needs a
go
company
home.
driver? I own my own
love
truck.
it.
Yeah.
I
Love it.
They say you got to give it 3 to 5 years before you start, but I'm like, well, no, I'm from the beginning.
Look at
That's
her.
my goal. I mean, and then looking at Mr. Dine, how he kind of started this, I want to train other people, so I tell him, I'm like, my goal is to go to Wyoming because I want that land. Like, I don't want to be in the city, so I'm like, well, I want 150 acres. So 50 acres for the house, other 100 for whatever, and I'm like, well, okay, I'm going to fly out some of his students. And I'm going to go back to where I started from. I'm going to fly them out, and I'm going to set up my own training platform,
Nice.
That
Go home
is
and go home.
Pay it forward.
I'm lucky to just know you. Okay, that's really innovative. That's so cool.
Bonnie, go hard or go home.
I know. I'm going home. I mean, because she's making me like I need to go home and I need to go to the drawing board, and then I'll come back and I'll go hard. But I need to go home really quick. No, you are great. I love it. You are striving. You are like,
Thank you.
wow.
Thank you.
And if you guys could just see her, she's just, oh my goodness, she's like the sweetest girl ever, and she's just fearless. One word to describe her: absolutely fearless. And that's what it takes. Whatever you do, as long as there's no fear, you got it, and you do for sure.
Keep it up.
And then any final words?
You know what? I grew up in a trucking environment. My dad drove a truck in World War II for 4.5 years in the South Pacific. Uncles were truck drivers, so I always grew up hearing these stories. And one of the things I kind of realized is that trucking is one of those unique occupations where you're born a trucker and you die a trucker. And I remember just hearing my uncles when they're in their 80s still talking truck driving stories, right? And then I kind of realized this is a very unique community. I can't think of any other profession or trade where you're accepted. And if you know somebody's a truck driver, it's like you have an instant bond. And one reason I want to take our students to the California Truck Show in Ontario is because I wanted to see that sense of community.
Yes.
And the highlight, I remember when we came back from that show, I was talking to Leilani, and she's like, of all the people we talked to, Eddie and Bonnie from KKW, they were real. And it's like they just had this joy and this passion. And we talked about you guys all the way home back to Patterson.
We talked about you guys the whole time. The feelings mutual.
Days and days.
So I appreciate you just being that light for the audience, for the future of trucking, and just kind of being there and being a big part of that and inspiring others. But
There's a lot of moving parts, right? And so it just takes all kinds of people everywhere. And you are so right. There is a sense of community. And I think everybody wants to belong. And in trucking, you are accepted. It does not matter where you come from or what you look like. You feel really safe on the road when you see another truck driver. We respect each other. We understand each other. And that's such a good point, a sense of community.
Yeah, that's what
Absolutely.
we are. We're team players. We just like to play as
Yeah.
a team player.
Yeah.
We always compliment each other. And we're just like that in the industry because we know everybody's out there moving freight. We won't have anything that we have if it wasn't for truck drivers. We'll be walking to Utah to get our food. So we are grateful for all truck drivers. We know how important they are. When I was just a Class C driver, I didn't know how important truck drivers was. I was that driver get in front of you and hit the brakes, but now I have respect, and I have a lot of respect for you too. I think what you guys are doing is so amazing. Like I am, my whole body inside is a big smile. It's just, I wish you could feel this feeling I feel. It's more amazing than I thought it was going to be. I have to be honest. I did not know Leilani was this sharp.
Oh my
she
God,
is so sharp.
She's amazing.
She's a rock star. She's
She
awesome.
is.
I mean, you're so great. I think that people need people like you. They really do. They need to know it's okay.
The world
and feel
needs people
inspired
like
by
that.
people like you. You are normal and you are cool and you are fun to be around, but you are a force to be reckoned with.
Right.
Thank
So
you guys.
I love it. I love
Thank
it.
you.
Well, thanks for being on our podcast. We wish the
thank
best
you
to
so
you
much,
guys,
guys.
and
We really
hopefully we have
appreciate
this program in Southern California soon.
Awesome.
Yes,
Sounds good.
yes.
Well, thank you.
Thank
for all
you
that
guys.
do, so.
You guys are awesome. Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to wrap up this episode. To everybody that tuned in, thank you so much. Be sure to follow the show. You can find us on iTunes and on Google Play, as well as be sure to share the show and help get the word out there about these programs. And one more thing, throw it over to Eddie.
I'm going to let Mr. Dine throw his email out there one more time, just so people that want to be a part of this program and want to help you guys out, so they'll be able to make contact with you. So there's the floor for you. Go ahead.
Awesome. So, like I said, Dave Dine, Patterson High School. Email address is ddine, it's DEIN, at patterson.k12.ca.us.
All right, so thank you again to our guests, and as we usually do at the end of every episode, we just want to thank all the drivers out there. We really appreciate you guys, and thank you so much for listening.
Thanks. Bye.